Hey everybody, welcome to the Game Junkie Show. I'm your host, Crystal. Joining me today are some sexy motherfuckers from the Backlog Chronicles. Please welcome everybody's daddy, Dr. Mo.
Hello, children. How's everybody doing?
And my brothers from another mother. Please welcome the man with the softest hands, Jordan.
Yeah, they are
Come
soft.
get these hands.
They are.
Come get these fucking hands.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy with the shittiest takes. No, I'm just kidding. It's Kevin.
No,
You were close. It's okay.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. I'm not gonna fight that one.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having
thank
us.
you.
You know, for anybody who's at the end of the show, we'll talk some more about the Backlog Chronicles for anybody who isn't already familiar with it. These guys are pretty funny. And I have to say the funniest episode to date was the Great Game Debate Trivia Special. So we need to try and out funny that. So let's bring our A game, gentlemen.
Let's do it.
So 2021, not a bad year in gaming. So let's all share, right, our game of the year. Just because your hands and your face are so soft and pretty, Jordan, I'm going to start with you.
Yes.
What was, in your opinion, what was the best game of 2021? So tell us that game and tell us why you thought it was the best game.
Alrighty, pressure is on.
It's on, baby.
Okay.
Goddamn right,
Okay.
baby.
So, my personal. Okay, are we doing best or favorite game here now? Because I know we talked about this before.
Let's do
Okay,
best. What do you
okay,
think
okay.
was the best game?
It Takes Two. Hands down.
Hands down. Tell us why. Why is it the best game?
When Mo and I heard about this game coming out, he actually was the one that basically gave me the friend pass to play the game with him. And I think he and I sat down over a period of maybe 4 nights to beat this game, and we were just enthralled the entire time. I love the way that Hazelight Studios has done co-op, and that is literally like the pinnacle of what co-op gaming should feel like and play like. Again, there's probably a countless number of times where he and I were both just like, "What the fuck? Are you kidding me?" Like, just we were just laughing and in awe the entire time. And yeah, I had never played anything that was that enjoyable with that level of creativity and just continually evolving gameplay mechanics that were just always engaging. Even the mini games were fun as hell. Like there was one point where like we were in the child's playroom on like this car, and you could like launch each other, and Mo kept fucking like launching me off the map, and I would just die over and over again. And we're just sitting here dicking around. But literally, that was probably I've never just had a smile just plastered on my face like that when I was playing that game. So that would be in my opinion the best game of 2021.
Did you play A Way Out by them prior?
I did, and that game sucks.
Oh, I mean, it doesn't suck.
It sucks,
but
you can tell. You can tell. You know, I mean, they were figuring it out in A Way Out. You know, obviously, like the whole co-op thing that they did. You know, the co-op system that they used, where you have to do things together. Actually, it started in Brothers. Yeah. Except you were playing that yourself, and you had to use 2 sticks. So they took 2 sticks to 2 people in A Way Out, and then obviously, you know, then. Yeah,
so I will go back and say that A Way Out it doesn't suck like mechanically.
I mean, I liked the story.
Fun.
I thought the story was neat. It was okay. I liked it.
Okay, all right, I'll allow it. The way it ended, it did not deserve that ending, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
mechanically, how it ended.
Mechanically, it was sound. Can we talk about spoilers? I mean, it's
it's fucking old.
I thought it was a neat little twist. I'm okay with.
I just felt like I'm like I come on this whole journey, Kevin, and then you're like with your buddy, and all of a sudden you're like, A2 Brutus.
That's right.
And you have to freaking kill each other. And literally, for me, like, the game is making me kill this person that I play the entire game with, and I had no desire to pull that trigger. So, I feel I don't feel compelled to do this at all. So
that's why I liked it. That's why I liked it, because I didn't want to do it.
Well, I felt like, it was the game wanted me to do it, but I felt like that violated me, because I was just like, I don't want to do this. I'm just going to put the controller down and walk away.
You know what this reminds me of?
Ellie and Abby.
Yes,
But that
my
see,
fucking son.
see,
Yes,
that made sense to
Yes!
me though. I felt like 'cause I was like, you
She's on
had
top
to
of
do
her
that.
shit.
Yep.
Yes.
And you had
Yeah.
to do that with like the person you co-opt with, who's
Right.
probably your friend, who you
Right.
actually like.
And he didn't want to shoot me either. So we're both here just like, who's
well,
gonna do it?
I played with my neighbor Ryan, and I killed the shit out of him. Fucked him
Rest in
up.
peace, Ryan.
But
Good.
but I was
Ryan,
mad.
you're a
I was
dick.
like, you fucking betrayed me. And
See?
he's like, I didn't write the story. I'm like, fuck
Yeah,
you.
fuck
Fuck
you.
Oh, Crystal. Okay, you pulled no punches.
That's the,
Okay.
No punches.
Jordan
Okay.
is right though, and it really was weird because I mean, you escape prison together,
Mhm.
go
Yeah.
fucking raft, escape the fucking cops. You go
drop
to this
drop the
guy's,
soap
you
together.
go to this guy's girl's fucking trailer, and you meet
Yeah.
his wife and his
Yep.
kid. You know, I mean, it's yeah. I
Yeah.
normally like twists. I don't mind them, but that one just
Yeah.
It
that one
hurt.
stung.
It did. It did.
That's why
it
I
did.
liked it. That's why I liked it.
Yeah.
So
Now, I
you
will
like
admit-
pain.
Well, no, I like it when look, the good guys, like people always live and the good guys always win. Like
Mm.
I like it when a bad guy wins, and I like it
Sure.
when like
Fair
a
enough.
good, protagonist dies or
Mhm.
vice. I don't know. Sometimes I like fucking carnage.
Yeah, kind of
I-
reminds me of Gladiator. Right before the final battle,
Oh,
when that
yes.
motherfucker freaking that pussy
Oh,
when
yes.
he stabs him,
Stabs
he
him.
stabs him and he punctures his lung just to get a step on him. Oh my
So-
god, I will never ever forget that fucking
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
Oh.
So then-
yeah.
Is everything in It Takes Two better because it's all been improved? The mechanics, the story,
100%.
the experience,
Yeah.
the narrative.
The story was like, it wasn't like anything groundbreaking. It was a very enjoyable story, and the way they told it was fun too. Like the writing was hilarious too. The banter between the husband and wife was great. But just mechanically as an entire experience, I think overall, yeah, it was much more complete and refined than A Way Out.
I have to finish
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I started playing
Yeah.
with Brad. You guys know Tukes, don't you?
Yeah.
Tukes?
I've
Brad?
seen him. I've
I
seen
do.
you guys. I've seen you interact with him, but I don't know if
Yeah, we started playing, but we didn't finish it. So I'm not far into it, but so far I think it's really good. We left right after the tree with the bees,
the bees.
Oh,
the
gosh.
crazy squirrels.
Yes.
Bees-
Yes.
yeah.
The fight on
yes.
the airplane.
So far I'm a huge fan of the game. Because I haven't finished it, I can't
Sure.
fairly.
Okay.
Yeah, Kevin, are you dying, or do you like have opinions on this game? Or are
No,
you...
I haven't finished it either. So
Oh.
I really don't have an
We should
opinion on it.
finish
I made it through the first level with my wife, and she was like, "Fuck this shit. This is too hard. I'm not gonna do it." And yeah, so it was kind of like an overcooked situation where I believe she wanted to kill me.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, that's cool. I just but we actually did play A Way Out together and finish that one. But I feel like the mechanics on that one were more simplistic, right? A lot of quick time events, so you know, it wasn't a big deal. Whereas the mechanics in a Way Out can get, for somebody that doesn't play games, it could probably be a little challenging.
Mhm.
I kind of think it was that, like I went in not really. I thought it would be more like Ratchet and Clank, where it
Mhm.
was more
Which is
geared
super
to a
easy.
younger audience,
Right.
and I'm like, oh, these puzzles are. I mean, yeah, they have some
No, there
merit
was-
to them, and
They do.
There were some sections that required some dexterity.
Oh,
you
no
know?
doubt.
I
Yeah.
remember Jordan
No
and I were
doubt.
talking about that when we were playing it. I'm like, hey man, yeah, this is this requires some dexterity. Like, there's some people that are
Mhm.
like, yeah, I'm playing it with my 5-year-old. I'm like, how?
yeah,
Right.
those boss
Fuck,
fights
like-
are
Yeah,
not.
the first that first sequence with when you
the
get
vacuum?
the vacuum we passed. We went through she got really frustrated at the hammer nail thing.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, and like I got it right away, but I get it. Like it was,
Oh, I remember
it
that.
it required a little bit more than 5-year-old. I don't know, man. I don't know how the hell. What kind of maybe a very gifted 5-year-old.
Yeah, but you have to
Um,
think what games we were all playing when we were that little.
That's true.
Like
Sure,
that,
That's true.
we were
sure.
all pretty damn impressive.
I know I was.
Yeah,
Just
hell
saying.
yeah.
I mean, we
Games
can't.
were hard back then, man.
They were really fucking
Yeah.
hard.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm proud of
Fucking-
myself. We can't all be bilingual, attractive doctors, but I'm still proud of myself.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, he speaks. He's fluent in English and asshole.
Yeah,
That's-
There's two
that-
ways to just.
That's why I love him. That's why he's daddy. Not
That's
in a
why she loves
perverted
you.
way. Not in a perverted way. For
Totally in
anybody
a
watching,
perverted way.
it's
Yes,
not like
guys.
yeah,
yes.
it's
No.
It's
I'm-
totally
it's
in a
not like that.
perverted way.
I'm sure they understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure for
Yeah.
So-
we are. Go ahead, Crystal.
I was going to ask Mo, what's your game of the year for 2021? What do you think is the best game that was made?
So I'm gonna piggyback off of Jordan. It's really I always went back and forth between because that's why I like your questions. Like, which one is your game of the year, and which one did you think was the best? I think for me, I remember like when Halo Infinite came out, or at least when I got the review code for it. Like the whole time I was playing it, I'm like, "Fuck, man, this is." Like I got emotional earlier, right? I'm like, holy shit, man, we've been waiting so long for this, and the story was just hitting some beats with me. But in terms of like my experience, that's where I'm gonna side with Jordan here
Oh
because
man.
So It Takes Two is your pick
our
as well?
experience with It Takes Two is the one of the funnest experiences I've ever had.
Mhm.
Whether it's single player or multiplayer, it was just fucking fantastic. Like that game just never let its foot off the
No.
gas. You know what I mean? And it was so creative, and the level design was brilliant, and it never ran out of ways to keep both people engaged. Whether, like he said, whether it's side activities or whether it's the main shit that you got to do yourself, and how you have to time everything. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? And the funny stuff that happened, like he was talking about, like that fucking, it turns into a 2D freaking fighter. It turns into a 2D fighter on top of a plane again with the squirrel. You know what I
That
mean?
was
Or
awesome.
there's another section that just straight up turns into like a Minecraft. Like it's amazing, like with just the creativity behind it.
Yep.
And that's the thing, man. Like, I mean, there's, with a game like Halo that strikes me really deep, obviously because of my fandom, but in terms of like just raw experience and a game that really this is video games. This is why we play them. Like that is it's the best example of it for me. Honestly, it was fucking amazing, and it deserved all the praise that it got.
Isn't
I agree.
Hazelight a relatively smaller studio?
Relatively small, yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
it's pretty incredible for them to get. I'm super happy for them. I think
Oh,
it's
no
awesome
doubt.
when smaller studios take that home. Kevin,
Yep.
what about you?
All right, so
what was the best game?
I've been thinking
2021?
about it, and this is super hard. All right, I think the best game. I'm gonna say Ratchet and Clank was the best game just because it hit all these classic points, and it did what it did really well. Was it something unique like It Takes Two? No, but it hit every checkbox that I think you could possibly hit. The story kept you engaged. It had solid platforming mechanics. It introduced adorable characters. It had all the right vibes to me. I ended up platinuming that one, but again, this and I'll save that for the next question. It's not my favorite game of the year, but I think it's the best overall game I played in 2021. It was challenging enough, but not too challenging. It never frustrated me. It made me feel good, I guess, and I don't know that it's something that I'll remember 5 years down the road, but in the moment it definitely was a game that you could just sit down and completely thoroughly enjoy. I think the entire time there was not a single section where you were bored or frustrated, or the pacing was good. And yeah, the Insomniac crew are are great. You know, they definitely know what
Wizards.
they're doing. Yeah,
They're fucking
and it was
wizards.
beautiful. On top of it, it was probably the first game on the PS5 that really kind of, you know, brought out the, you know, the ray tracing and just that 4K goodness, and really made that console like, you know, worth the buy, in my opinion. So yeah, no, I'm gonna go with Ratchet and Clank, and I wrote down a list of all the ones, you know, but that's the one. That's my choice for best game.
I thought it was a
Mhm.
damn good game. One thing I really liked about it, I have a lot of friends that don't really play video games, and my wife doesn't play a lot of the video games I play because it's too complex. There's too many buttons. That's a game you can put a lot of people on and they can play
Right.
it and grasp it. And the Junior
Sure.
Explorer mode is wonderful for kids.
Mhm.
It's a great way to
Cool.
onboard kids to the gaming experience because it helps. For anybody who doesn't know, it actually helps compensate. So it
Mhm.
simplifies the buttons. So as long as the kids are
Oh,
like,
okay.
as long as the kid has the joystick in the right direction, they can press any button and it will compensate and do the appropriate
Oh,
action. So it teaches
Mhm.
kids the basics of like
and I'm
aim,
pretty sure
push
that's
a
the
button.
mode that Mo finished it on.
There's nothing.
So
Go fuck yourself.
he's very familiar with the Junior Explorer mode.
Oh, shit.
No,
I completely forgot about that. That's they've been doing a really good job too, yeah, with the whole accessibility thing. I think Sony are really like spearheading that too. Really, it started with The Last of Us Part 2 because
Yeah.
that probably had some of the best. It probably had the best. It wasn't
the
some of the
best.
best. It was the best accessibility options I've ever seen. And if anyone has seen anything better, please present, you know, present the evidence because they looked like they were just like, okay, what do we do here? You know, like I
Mm.
mean, let's think of every possible disability and let's try
Well,
to compensate for
well,
that disability.
you know,
It's
I'm pretty sure that they probably just wanted everybody to be able to experience their torture porn, at the level that, you know, they wanted it to. It
Mhm.
is kind of an odd game to champion accessibility, though. Just it's kind of, you know, it's so dark and gloomy. You'd think something like Ratchet and Clank
That's what
or a
makes it
more
so good.
cartoony
Yeah.
thing would have more, you know, accessibility options. But yeah, no, that's I'm gonna stick with that one after going eeny meeny miny mo on my list here.
Solid choice, baby.
It's a
Solid
good pick.
Thank
choice.
you, thank you,
It's a great game, Kevin. It's a great
Mhm.
game.
thank you.
If anybody hasn't been able to just have a guess at what mine might be, what I think the best game was, the director's cut of Death Stranding was the game I thought was the absolute best game of the year. Now I didn't play the original, so but like
Who cares?
uh,
You played the
I-
game.
dude,
You didn't need to play the
I
original
didn't
to play the
I
game.
didn't expect that. I did not
Yeah.
expect a video game could do what this game fucking did. Like I don't even have words to describe the journey that I went on.
It's the only game I've ever played in my entire gaming life that made me cry.
Same, actually. Like, I
Mm.
mean, like I got the
Okay.
part from Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, I got teary eyed. That was
I
hard.
didn't finish that, so maybe
Okay,
yeah.
that was. I don't. There's been times in games I've been emotional. In this game, the whole ending from like the last part with the baby, where you have
He
to.
didn't. Jordan didn't play it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't
That's all I
finished
said.
it
There's
either.
the
Oh,
end
okay,
part.
okay.
The end part. I'm not going to spoil it. The end
You're
part
good.
from the baby on
It's the
was
way it starts and the music that kicks in.
yes, and like
it's a path in front of you and you
dude,
know what there's something, Jordan, I'm not saying
yes.
anything.
I got you. You're
There's
good.
something you gotta do, and that fucking music, and I don't know what it was about that
telling
entire
you.
experience.
All
Maybe
right.
because I'm a father, I have no idea, but holy shit. I will never ever forget
We
that
like
fucking
cried. Like I'm not like
No, no,
teary eyed.
yeah, yeah.
Like actual tears coming down.
Sure.
It wasn't like onions crying, man. It was
No,
like
no. But it was
yeah,
like
Weren't they
yeah.
just saying that they both weren't criers before
I
that,
the
know,
that,
show?
right? These
that
And
guys.
game
now
got
they're the
me.
two that are crying over.
That game got me. And my
Okay.
wife loved it. Like she was like, "Don't play without me." And she's never like this about
She
my
liked
games.
it.
She was
Nice.
so
Okay.
in to the story, and there were a lot of sad moments in that game. But that ending, like,
Yeah.
and the
All right, well,
narrative, the narrative journey it takes you on is like, how do you, I mean, it was just brilliant to force the feelings the way that it did. It was wonderfully optimized. It was extremely beautiful. It made use
It
of
is
the
pretty.
haptics. Like
Mhm.
it was just a solid, just it was just every aspect of the game I thought was really, really, really good. So, in my opinion, that's the best game was
Okay,
made.
it's on my list. It's on my
2021.
list. And again, hearing you guys, talk about how it emotionally resonated with you, I'm probably gonna fucking Niagara Falls this bitch.
So you haven't
Because
played even the original?
No,
no,
you never did.
I'm not. I haven't touched a Hideo Kojima game since Snake Eater. I don't really care for a lot of his
Oh,
stuff. But again,
wow,
this
Me
is
really?
neither.
this is a big change up. It seems like, at least just it's obviously a different playing game than
You
any of
never
those.
played Metal Gear Solid 4?
Mm-mm. I didn't have a
I, di-
PlayStation, bro.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't.
that's
I'm
right.
I
now.
My
didn't
son
like the
just got
Metal
it
Gear
for me.
now.
games.
Oh, see,
Yeah,
I
I'm
did.
not crazy about them either.
I
I love Sons of Liberty and Snake Eater, but I'm not like, oh.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I see what
I
you're saying.
tried 3 and 5, and I'm like, this is weird. I don't get
Yeah.
it. Like I
Five
don't.
Yeah,
five
same
didn't
here.
jive with me.
I'm not cultured enough to
Well,
understand
I
like the
and
Kojima Japanese thing.
Yeah.
and Death Stranding's fucking weird. All right, I
Yeah.
mean it's pretty
is
fucking
weird.
weird.
I'm cool with weird.
I remember when
uh,
Kevin bought it. It was after I was talking about it. That was like around the time you and I first started,
Yeah.
That's too funny.
interacting with each other, and then he bought it and he started posting it.
Okay.
I'm like, that's my
I'll play it. I need
it
to
is
play it.
it is weird,
I
but it's
still
like
gotta finish it. Oh my gosh, yeah, I've been waiting for it to get on
finish
the
it.
PS5. So, and then I started it up again. I lost my save when I got the
Oh.
PS5, so I have to start it over. But I'm further than I was when I lost my save.
Good.
So it is kind of a cool game though, because I feel like I can jump into it whenever I want, do a couple missions, and the story's so fucking weird that I can't not remember it. So when I go back in, I'm like, I know exactly what's happening right now. Fat dudes being weird in my room, and
Okay.
and I'm yeah.
Well-
So I made it to like the first big hub city, whatever the whatever
Not
that fucking
something,
city
yeah.
is.
Not
Yeah.
city. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I'm a little past that now. So, but you're absolutely right in terms of what it does. It does really well. It's so fucking weird, but it
Okay,
captures
but
you, and it has a good rhythm, and it plays well, and you get into it.
Okay.
It's so unique,
but the
Um,
weird. I'm not going to spoil anything. The
Okay.
weird the weird stays weird, and the confusing stays confusing until the end of the game. There
It
were
all comes
there were
together.
so many
Right.
things. I'm
Alrighty.
like,
and that's
is
what I've
this going to
heard.
make any sense? Like, when are these things going to come together? When are these people going to come
Okay.
together? And then the end of the game, it just dumps it on you, and you're like, holy fuck! It's a slow burn. It's worth it to get
It
there.
is a slow burn.
Yeah,
I
I
think
will get through it.
no, it's a slow burn. Even I think a lot of people know this. Chapter 3 is the longest one. Like, I mean, if you get past chapter 3, you're gonna finish the game.
Okay.
I think
The-
if you
the-
can get to chapter 3, getting to chapter 3 is a
No,
grind.
honestly, because remember, chapter 1 starts out in the White House, and then there's something you got to do, which is really fucking, like that kind of like sets the tone for the game itself. It's your first mission that you have to do, if you remember, Crystal.
Yeah, but I didn't like it
ca-
because
you
I'm fucking
It was
like,
weird, but that's the point of it, right? Like, I don't know, man. It was fucking eerie. There was just something eerie about what it is that you had to do. Kevin, you know what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
because
It
it's
was very eerie, but
yeah.
Yeah,
it sets the tone for
it
what
does.
kind of
It
world
does.
you're living in, what kind of
Yep.
game you're playing, and how everybody is. And the other thing,
And it
too,
was
is
so fucking weird.
But
it
it's
was.
like
It
it's
was.
like what kind of game punishes you for the way you walk? Like, why are the
Mhm.
most basic
Yeah.
mechanics
All right.
so
So
challenging? And I was like,
Death
this is
Stranding.
so silly, and it doesn't make sense to be this frustrating. And then I
Oh, it
realized
can
why.
be. It can be completely devastating, right? So everybody that's like, "Oh, this is a walking simulator," is fucking
Nope.
absolute bullshit.
Whoever
Because
said that
I'll
didn't
tell
play
you
it.
the story of my motorcycle and the travesty that was what caused me to go back like a save and lose 20 minutes because I was fucking just destroyed. There was a bridge coming up, and I could have taken the fucking bridge, but no, I thought, I could just drive my motorcycle through this little water, this
Mhm.
stream, right? And it was too deep. So I fell off my motorcycle. My packages that were stacked up like 10 feet high go everywhere. Now I'm chasing my packages down the river, trying to get them, but running out of stamina. And it was just, I'd get a couple, I'd run out of stamina, I'd fall again, and I'd go and I'd have to get more and fall again. And I was so frustrated. I quit and loaded up a saved game again because I'm like, fuck that. But it punishes you to the point where like you always have to be conscious of where you're going, how you're going to approach, that said terrain. And that description of my pain and suffering just cements that it's not just this walking simulator. I've played walking simulator games and they're chill, and you can listen to a fucking audio book if you want, or listen to a story. There is none of that here. Like one false move and you are careening to your fucking demise, down a mountainside or some shit, and you're fucked. And the hour that you just spent collecting your packages and doing that, it's fucking boned. You're done. So
that's really the charm of it, right? It's because you have to plan your path out. Not just the path, you have to watch the weather.
Right, the weather, the terrain, the BTs. You have to judge all that. Do I go the long route that's a little safer, or do I go this route if I have piss grenades? And it's tactical.
You'll see, Jordan.
Yeah.
It's there's blood grenades, piss grenades. It's something, bro.
Another thing about it that I learned the hard way, it's not like a traditional game when you die, if you die. Like, so there's the best way I can describe it without spoiling anything is it is a game filled with consequences. There is no mechanic in that game that will allow you to be lazy or just completely stupid while you play it. Respects your intelligence.
Okay. Yes,
and
it
does. That's what's so cool about it.
Yes, it does.
That's why
it does respect your intelligence. That is a very, very, very good point. It does. And I think that's why a lot of the fucking shallow ass people that keep shit talking it are stupid. Sorry. But it does.
You heard it here first, folks. Trust him, he's a
that's
doctor.
Right.
So he knows.
I don't give a shit, doctor. It's
my fucking son.
No, that's she's really hitting on it, because it does, man. It does respect your intelligence. It expects you to understand, and even like in traditional Kojima fashion, it does get a little bit weird, with the story and the fucking eccentric, the eccentric fucking acting, like depending on whatever. But once it all comes together, once it all comes together and it just all coalesces towards the end, and you see, like, holy shit, man, like the journey. Some parts of the journey were fucking amazing. Some parts of the journey can be a drag. Some parts of the journey, like Kevin was touching on earlier, like they can be devastating depending on if you plan. If you get impatient, you're going to fuck up.
Okay.
You cannot get impatient. It's not a chore, Jordan. Okay, like just to, because I know you're listening to us, we're talking about this. It's not a chore. It doesn't feel like a chore, but the more you play, the more you start appreciating of what it was that he was trying to do, right? Like with the game itself. These porters, these delivery men. You're not a fucking FedEx driver, right? Like what you're taking and what you're doing and how you protect them and why you have to protect them. And there's consequences to everything. And it's just, and like I said, once you get to this certain point, you're like, fuck me, man, this destination is incredible. And then you look back and you're like, God damn, was the fucking journey worth the destination? You know what I mean? So I love it, man. I love Death Stranding. I really, really liked it.
Do you think that game is more impactful for people, even for us, because we were playing it during, like, I mean, a pandemic happened, quarantine happened, and
before the pandemic.
Yeah. But I mean, I played it.
I'm
after,
sorry. Yeah,
but it's still to look at the game's experience, even if you played it before, and like what the world looked like for a period of time is kind of like an interesting take. I feel like it added to the perspectives of the game. I'm trying not to spoil anything, but what the game does for you socially.
That's cool.
I feel like it has some impact there.
That was a running joke actually after COVID, after the pandemic,
Mhm.
happened and whatever, because everybody's like, "Holy fuck, man!" Like Kojima predicted the future, in a sense.
Well, I mean,
So
because he's
yeah,
like
he's.
weird.
I mean, look, again, like there's some people that don't. I don't know, like I mean, with Kojima, I'm not a Kojima stan, but I do love his games and I do respect what he tries to do. He tries to do things differently. I mean, and for that itself, like if you try to bring that approach to this fucking medium so it doesn't get stagnant or stale, I respect that. His games are not going to resonate with everybody. I mean, Metal Gear Solid series is fucking legendary, but there are some people that don't like it, and that's completely fine. But he still tried to do things differently, right? Like, I mean, come on,
Sure.
like, who the fuck forgets the demo for Metal Gear Solid 2 at E3? It was fucking unbelievable. You're like, how's this running on PS2 hardware? And then like when you first start playing, like, yeah, his style won't resonate with you, but you can't fucking fault him for being the creative genius that he is. I think he's a fucking creative genius. I think, again, because the shit he tries to do, who the fuck has created anything like Death Stranding? No one.
Nobody. That's why it's awesome.
No one wanted it, but he created it, and it's there, right? I mean, that's the thing. Instead of another fucking shooter, and I got his point, like when of course people here, the fucking sensitivity is at an all-time high. Oh, he's saying Americans are dumb. Well, you know what, man? He's not really too fucking wrong. I mean, yeah, like, I mean, there are people who appreciate things, but I don't think he was saying that, because that's how people took it. He was just like, I mean, it's not necessarily Americans are dumb. It's just, it's just harder to crack that kind of market here, right? Because whether we like it or not, shooters are the biggest fucking games here in this continent. They just are. This is why Warzone is fucking number one every fucking year, or Call of Duty, or Fortnite, or whatever it is. Like, shooters, pew pew. So
Pew pew.
you guys are wrong.
Pew pew pew.
You are right though. Before we move on, I do have to say there are very few game directors that really understand how to use the medium of a video game to tell a story that way. And I feel like Kojima and Neil Druckmann are among those people
No doubt.
that can
No doubt.
use, like, I can't get that experience from a movie or even a book. So that's why I put it. So let's circle. I was hoping we would get Angry Mo, by the way, and hopefully there will be another tangent before the end of the show. Jordan, we're going to go back to you. Right now that we've all picked the best game. What was your favorite game? What is your guilty pleasure game, or like this is just a game I want to jump into to have mindless fun, whatever it is. What was your favorite game?
So the back of my mind is telling me to say this one, but I'm gonna let Mo say it because I know he's gonna say it.
Oh.
But so I'm gonna be different, just to kind of driving up the conversation a little bit.
My son.
Deathloop.
My fucking son. My
yes.
son. Yeah.
Yes. I am not shy about being a stan for Arcane Studios, and Deathloop just kind of blew my socks off. I think you're playing through it right now, right, Crystal?
No, I'm playing. I started Returnal today.
Okay. I know you said Returnal. Okay.
Look at my
Deathloop
girl,
was
bro,
friggin'
playing
awesome.
Returnal.
I know, right? She's
it.
gonna beat it before both of you guys.
Yeah,
but Deathloop is just like, for those that that haven't played any sort of the Arcane games, or at least have been overwhelmed by them, this is like their most accessible one that they've made yet. They are masters at player agency in terms of giving you this sandbox to kind of experiment, and then they'll give you an objective, and it's up to you ultimately how you want to do it. Now you hear that a lot in games too, but this is like the way they creatively kind of set up these scenarios for you to experiment. Just taking out the random visionaries is freaking awesome. I love just the level of creativity and kind of puzzle solving that they have in that game. It can be a bit overwhelming initially for a lot of people. One of them is here in this chat. That's Mo. He didn't listen to a word I said.
Kevin raised his hand too.
Kevin's okay. Kevin's okay, but I was coaching Mo through the tutorial. He's like, I'm good. He basically just,
it wasn't.
I told him to zig and he zagged.
Yeah, we did. He tried.
But no, it's just such a, I don't know, the way that they do that the way that they make shooters seem more than just like run of the mill shooters is just always very interesting to me. it's a power trip. Also, let me get that out of the way too. You just feel like a badass just going around, shifting or blinking that they call it in this game now, and just chopping up all these people and shooting them. The Havoc ability is probably it's not a Havoc. The Nexus ability is like probably the coolest thing ever. It lets you link all these different targets. I think it's up to like 5 of them, and if you just kill one of them, they all just drop dead right there. Yeah, so the whole thing is all about experimenting. The narrative was great too. The voice actors
Yes, it was.
for Cole and Juliana were just friggin' hilarious the entire way through. The way it wraps up is pretty interesting too. It wasn't maybe wholly satisfying, but again, this is kind of the whole journey destination thing. The whole journey up there was phenomenal, and just the way everything unfolded and how you were able to, no spoilers, you were able to kind of figure out how to eliminate all of these visionaries over the course of a single day. You're stuck in this time loop. But yeah, for those that are not super well versed in like roguelike games, this kind of has flavors of that too. But again, it's not terribly punishing in that same regard, because yes, if you do die, you start the whole day over again. But no, it is a great first step into Arcane's library, because Prey from 2017 is one of my favorite games of all time, and Deathloop was a good first step for people that really should get into that game. But Prey is also a hard pill to swallow. Let's be honest with that. But yeah, I would say Deathloop is probably my favorite game of 21. The online stuff, one thing I will say I didn't like about it was the online stuff, the PvP, because the netcode sucks. So you could be, trying to shoot someone, but they're moving this way, and the battles just turned up to being just a melee fest, and it just wasn't satisfying, unfortunately. But otherwise, yeah.
Can you comment on the discourse that the AI in Deathloop? Well, now I didn't play the game, but people were telling me that there's a bunch of party goers. Basically, they're not trained people to fight. It's like Kevin drunk in next to the pool. What the fuck 100%. Is he gonna like? How is he? What is he gonna do to you?
Okay, I'm a ninja.
Yes.
Okay.
The mobs running around. For the life of me, I don't know why their name escapes me right now. They're not called the Visionaries, are the targets, and the other guys are called. Oh my gosh.
We'll just call them the Kevins.
Yeah, the Kevins. But yeah, they are pure fodder. The only time they really pose a threat is like when there's an alarm that's triggered, or if they're coming at you in droves. But it makes sense from a narrative standpoint, because like to the point you said, these people they're just partiers. In a narrative sense, these people are here just because they want to live forever, right? They don't. The whole point of this island is for you to not care about anything, just do whatever you want to do. If it's drugs, drinking, sex, killing each other, you won't know, because the very next day the cycle ends and you're wiped. Your memory's wiped. So you're no worse for the wear if you had a really shitty day. So, was that an issue for me from a gameplay perspective? No, because like I said, they still. If you're trying to complete like certain sub objectives, or as you're trying to investigate these leads for these visionaries, you're gonna have to try to find creative ways to deal with them, because like I said, if you're not all powerful early on, but you can dispatch them pretty effectively. But for people that like myself that try to do things super sneaky like, it's just not satisfying for me unless I'm playing it very deliberately. And the game does afford you that opportunity with the AI being quite forgiving, but I don't think it's in its disadvantage to that game.
Makes sense.
That makes
if
sense,
it's a bunch of party goers by a pool who are like cracked out, they're probably not going to be. That makes sense.
I mean, even in their other games like Dishonored, the AI in that one, like everything's based off of a whole like line of sight. You have the line of sight meter that builds up, and then once they're alerted, they come after you. So that's kind of been persisting through all of their games, even in Prey also. But no, I think it's I think it fit the type of gameplay that they were trying to offer the player.
Well, that goes back to what I was. What did I put? I put about 15 hours into Deathloop. So that goes back into what we were talking about, right? Because everybody's like, "Oh, shooter," pew pew, right? It's
Yes.
like, no, it can be a fucking shooter.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a mindless fucking action shooter like everything.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
primary
like Jordan was touching
thing
about
was
on
not
them.
shooting.
It's
Yeah.
deliberate.
Yes.
Everything, you know, like the planning and whatever, it's a shooter, but it's deliberate. Really? I mean, so you have to strategize, and seems like strategizing is not something a lot of people enjoy, unfortunately. So, yeah.
Are you saying Americans are stupid, Mo?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
as an
that's the
American,
second
I am going to
time.
say
Second
Americans are
time.
fucking stupid. Yes.
So then
Yes.
let's move on to you, Mo. What was your favorite guilty pleasure game?
You know, I don't know. You know, like, I mean, it's the easy answer for me would be Halo Infinite.
Yes.
But at the same time, like, I'm going through this list of games that I beat this year. Right?
Yes.
So I could sit here and I could tell you like just the different experience. You know, what each game made me feel like. Cyberpunk 2077 is.
Ooh.
I sank 150 hours into one playthrough, and one playthrough.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that I was enamored with it. I loved it. I personally loved it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. You know, I mean, Little Nightmares 2. Who could forget that fucking ending? Or just the entire fucking journey through Little Nightmares 2. It was incredible. It Takes Two we've touched on, right? Resident Evil Village. Like for me, I'm like I'm more of I'm a Resident Evil newcomer, right? So I had beaten Resident Evil 7 for the first time when I finally decided to grow a pair of balls. Like I finally decided to play 7, and I fucking loved it. And it was such a pure horror experience. And then I jumped into Village and I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. Right? Like, I mean, I'm telling you, Ratchet and Clank was great. The Forgotten City was fucking awesome. Right? Like, I mean, that's a first person game, but it's all cerebral. You just have to figure everything out, you know, with it. Psychonauts 2 is excellent. The Artful Escape, I fucking loved it because I wish I was high when I was playing that game, by the way.
Me too.
Artful Escape is just I loved it. It was so simple, but I just liked it was just a visual fucking feast. Like that's all the game was. It was literally just 2 fucking buttons. You strum and you jump. That's it. You know what I mean? But Metroid Dread, I really, really loved that, and I'm a big Metroid fan. You know, I mean, I love the Prime series. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh fuck!
That one came out of nowhere. Kevin and I fucking canceled our pre-orders before the game came out. We're like, hey, you know what?
I told you guys to also. I was like, just cancel it.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, point is like, I had such incredible experiences with a lot of these games. I mean, you know, yeah. I mean, I'm a big Halo fan, so for me, like I was telling you, like when I was first playing the game, I'm like, fuck, it's finally here. Like we're playing it. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me, man. It's really tough for me to just kind of like sink on one. Like, yeah, the easy answer for me would be Halo, but that's because of my bias. Because I'm really, I mean, I love Halo. I think everybody who follows me knows I love Halo. You know what I mean? And but yeah, I think that's I think that's what my if I had to pick one, because you're the host and you want one, I'm gonna say Halo Infinite.
My fucking son.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Halo Infinite because that game just delivered for me. I love lore. You know, there's some people that where the story didn't really resonate with them, and that's pretty fucking unfortunate. You know, because Halo lore has never been in any of the games. It's never been like A, B, C, D, E. It's not fucking well. It's not everything fits into place. Go back, you know, like I mean, I could put somebody to you know into Halo the first one, Combat Evolved, and they'll be like, "What the fuck is this? Who is this? Where did this come from? What is this? What's a Halo ring?
Is
You know,
Infinite gonna get
what's an array?" Like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, who the fuck is Cortana? Where did she come from? You know what I mean? So it's never ever filled the gaps for you. The lore itself, the greater lore, is what filled the gaps for you. And this one, shit. You know, I mean, the story was easier to follow along for newcomers for Halo Infinite, but still, I had said in my review, if you don't have any knowledge of the lore before jumping into this game, I really advise you to watch like a half-hour video on the Halo lore on YouTube, because it will really, really help you out. There's so many callbacks to so many. Jordan knows exactly what I'm talking about. There's so many callbacks to so many fucking characters and so many different things, and even like the terminology in the game itself, right? Like, I mean, it helps you. And unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people did that. The game itself was still enjoyable. I mean, I remember we were talking about this on, I think it was one of Ains' shows, the last one we did, Jordan. And there was like a few people in the chat. They were like, "Well, I mean, I'm not really that big on lore, but I mean, I followed along with the story." I'm like, "Yeah, cool," but I'm pretty sure you had some fucking plot holes that you had no idea what was going on. So that was good. But yeah, man, just if I had to pick one, Halo Infinite.
So
I
good.
haven't played that yet. I plan to. I
Nice.
I don't like PvP games.
Okay.
I would really like, are they going to have a co-op campaign for that at some point?
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
what
it's
I was
coming.
kind of hoping to hold out for, so that I could, because I never get to play with people
You know
online
what,
because I
Crystal?
don't
You're
like
gonna love it.
PvP.
You know what though? I'll be honest with you, man. So for me personally, I'm not really too big on co-op. Co-op, it depends on the game, I guess, right? I've co-opted Halo before. You know, it was an enjoyable experience with your friends, but at the same time, like it takes you out of the immersion, right? Like you're not as immersed into it as, you know, whatever. Like I mean, if you're co-oping Halo, you're not co-oping it for the story. You're just
So
co-oping it to blow
would you
shit up.
recommend that because I haven't
100
really.
fucking %, you play it alone.
Okay,
That's
then
at least my opinion. If you
doctor's orders.
Oh shit.
I'm and again, you know, and I'm playing my way through it again, even though at a slower pace, obviously, you know what I mean? But that to me, and maybe it's just, again, maybe because of my view on this world or my bias with this world. I want to fucking see it all. I want to enjoy it all. I don't want somebody fucking chirping in my ear.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean,
That's
dude, like you're
That's the
talking to
thing.
somebody who went to see the Lord of the Rings trilogy all by myself in the theater because I didn't want to take a fucking girl or take somebody with me and just be like, what is this? What is this? What is this? Right? I'm like, you know what, man? I'm just gonna go alone, and I don't want anybody to bother me. So I sat like
Oh
a
my
fucking
gosh.
idiot by myself, and I just enjoyed every minute of it.
I
That's
am
how I am.
so
When I'm,
glad you're saying this. I thought I
yeah.
was the only
Oh
gamer
no.
that's like,
No.
can
Oh
I just,
no.
that I want to play by myself so often
Okay.
because of that reason. Like,
That's
I
fair.
want to lose myself. Mo,
Yeah,
we're
no.
twinsies.
Crystal,
Yeah,
let me ask
no.
you.
I'm telling you, yeah. If there's something like that, I will. Like, I remember when Gladiator came out in '99. I went with a bunch of my friends, and we all went to the theater. And then these guys are like, and I'm like, okay, bro, this is a fucking Ridley Scott movie. This is whatever. I know it's tangential right now, but anyway, the point is these guys were like dicking around in the theater. I'm like, man, fuck you guys, right? So I went up like three rows behind them, and for the rest of the movie, I just fucking sat and I watched it by myself. I didn't have to hear these fuckers or whatever, them laughing or whatnot. Yeah, there's experiences that I really want to like soak in. Fuck co-op, dude.
I hear that.
I'm
No,
going
that
solo.
makes sense.
I
That makes
feel
sense.
you. Jordan, you were
Yep.
going to ask something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you played the previous games at all, Crystal?
Halo?
Yeah.
The original, whatever fucking Halos were on the original,
So
like
1, 2.
the first Xbox.
Okay,
I
so
think I
1 and
played
2.
one and two, and like,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that's it.
Okay.
So I've been out of
So-
it for a very long time.
So yeah, to Mo's point, yeah, you probably will miss some of the beats unless you do watch like a recap video, because yeah, it's pretty heavy, especially with just Chief and Cortana. It's all about their relationship. But I will say, co-op Halo is still a lot of friggin' fun, and as long as you're with a partner that like respects cutscenes and doesn't talk over you or anything like that, you can still enjoy it. I just know that when I was trying to get Mo to play Borderlands. Borderlands 2, because I was like, dude, you can't play 3. You have to play 2. You have to play 2. You have to see Handsome Jack, why he's so good. And we were probably like 4 hours into the game. And I was like, I don't even know what's going on, guys.
And you know me too, man. Right? Look, Jordan knows me. Like, I mean, if I'm playing a single player game, usually, like, if we get on Xbox, we'll shoot each other a fucking an invite for a chat, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm playing a game by myself, Jordan will be like, all right, fuck it. Like, I mean, because he knows, like. But he's right. I think if I would have played Borderlands alone, I would have probably enjoyed it. Not gonna lie,
it would
to
have
you, you know?
sucked. The gameplay would have literally wore you down, because look, the bullet sponges can be really painful by yourself in those games, man.
Yeah,
But I hear
mean,
you. I hear
just
you.
really, I'm always narrative. Like, I try to shoot for the narrative first, and if the narrative sucks, then I'll kind of put that on the side, and I'll be like, all right, man, let me just play this game for what it is right now, and I guess if the fucking narrative is somehow comes together, that's fine. You know, that's the thing with these games. Like, there's some narratives that either grip you right away, or some of them you can just tell they take a back seat immediately to whatever, right? So Borderlands, obviously, it's fucking crazy, but the weapons and everything else, you know, you kind of feel like, at least for me, but again, I only have experience with it with co-op with you guys, so
yeah.
Sorry to hear that, Mo. So,
Crystal, if you ever do dive into Halo Infinite, you don't have to play all the games before it. It's you know, like, I mean, that would be asking a lot of somebody, but definitely watch a YouTube video that
Yeah.
has all of the lore. It will fucking help you out so, and you'll appreciate it more.
I
That's the
want
thing.
to. I'm hoping that like I can actually finish Returnal and then play Halo before Forbidden West comes out, because all I care
Oh
about
Jesus,
is
that's aggressive.
Yeah, well, but that's how I'm. Yeah,
You're just an
aggressive.
aggressive person.
Is sometimes kind of my thing.
You
I don't.
finish her
Right.
I'm getting older. I don't have time to fucking sit
Yeah.
here and
Yeah,
like.
can't dick around.
I
Yeah,
just
I
I want
gotta
to get
plow
these
through
fucking
that
games.
shit.
I'm paying for
Yeah.
Game Pass. I want to fucking play that shit.
Yeah.
God damn it!
You know,
Fuck
that's why I
yeah.
stopped playing Warzone. I stopped playing
Yeah, too
Warzone
much of
in
a time
June.
suck.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, man, because I stopped playing everything else. I was
Mhm.
like, I had a good group of
Yeah.
guys, like they were my friends here locally, and we fucking racked up like 100 wins, almost 100 wins in like 3 months or 4 months. Like we were fucking winning almost every night. You know, I mean, it was just it's the fucking dopamine rush, man. And
Mhm.
then I remember at that time, you had Streets of Rage 4, and then you had Final Fantasy 7 remake. Like they all came out around the same time, and we were playing Warzone, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like I can't do this anymore, right? Like I love playing other games, and despite the fact that I was having fun, you know, like still, I'm
Yeah.
like, nah. So I
Totally feel
literally
ya.
just I quit cold turkey. Like June 2020, like one night I played and then I never fucking went back again. And these guys were like, they fucking hounded me for like 2 months straight. They're like, dude, when are you coming back? I go, bro, I'm done. I'm done with Warzone. Fuck this. Never again. I had my fun with it. It was amazing, but I've moved on to greener pastures, man. I got fucking better games to play.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had
Mhm.
that too. I want to say, yeah, Call of Duty 3 is probably when I petered out on the online.
Okay.
I used to play a lot of
Okay.
that and like Rainbow Six Vegas 2 online, like
Ooh,
a fuck
Vegas.
ton. That's my
Vegas
favorite
is
You're an
shooter.
OG.
Cool.
Favorite shooter of all time.
That's
And then
solid.
I
You're a
just
fucking
petered
OG.
out. I was like, I gotta, yeah.
You know, I don't ever knock anybody for playing what they, want to play, but
Mhm.
it's also I can't help but think, God, you have this, $500-$600 console and you're playing one fucking game
That's what happened
like
with
all
my
the time.
friends.
Yep.
I
That's what
mean,
happened with
you
my
could
friends
be.
here.
There's so many good experiences. I have a coworker that I'll jump in occasionally, like for Warzone, or he'll swap between Battlefield, Warzone, and Fortnite, right? Rinse and repeat. And he just will not play anything
Filthy
else.
casual.
And
Mhm.
it's funny because he's he'll hit that 100 level battle pass and then go on to Battlefield or go on to Halo Infinite or whatever the next shooter is, right, in the rotation. But he knows that I podcast and stuff, so he's always talking about these games, and I could see that he's kind of interested sometimes, like when I explain to him, but it's too much effort, right? I mean, he's comfortable. It's his mac and cheese, right? He just wants to
Yes.
go home.
Yeah.
I get it. So I don't judge people. Like after a hard day of work, you just want to go home, get on with the buddies, do the same shit you do every night. That's fine. But there's so many good experiences that I have ADD bad when it comes to games. I'm jumping all over the map.
Dude,
So
you're fucking telling me, man. You nailed it on the head. That's the thing. I have friends here. Again, same guys. These guys have been playing Warzone since it fucking launched.
Mhm.
PS5 comes out. They're like, I need to get a PS5.
For
I need
what?
to get. I'm like, you motherfuckers! All you do is play Call of Duty every night. Why are you scrambling? Your experience is not going to be different on PS5 versus PS4. It's really not. Warzone ran pretty well on the PS4 Pro, which is what these guys all had. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, do you? That's what you want. Go ahead. But I mean, you get these two, like Kevin said, it's the experiences. Not to like. I mean, then we're getting into that territory where like every gamer plays what they like to play. Like, yeah, bro, play whatever you want to play. But
Two mo tangents.
yeah,
Two rotations, two mo
sorry,
tangents.
I'm
I love it.
sorry. Yeah.
No,
Two
I
mo
was
tangents.
hoping for a little angry mo. Kevin, what was your
Okay.
favorite game? What was your I had so much fun, guilty pleasure?
Okay, so this one was a hard one, but I think I'm gonna say that my guilty pleasure game that I made me feel proud and I really got into it when I thought I wouldn't was Death's Door, and it's not a game that like I would normally pick up, but I did, and I started playing it, and I said, man, I don't know that this is like for me. And then I got sucked in, and I made it through some frustrating points. I farmed some help from Jordan, just some tips and pointers that helped me pass some bosses. But it was like Dark Souls for me, and I know, big pussy, but it's actually a pretty challenging game. And I beat it, and I didn't get the super secret ending, but I beat the main game, and it's an adorable game, but it's also dark and weird, and it's just I'm proud of myself for really enjoying it, not for getting through it, because I've gotten through games that I fucking hated just to get through the damn game, to say I beat it. But in this case, I started off not really liking it and not super psyched for it, and ended up falling in love with it by the end of the game. So I think that would be my pick. It was tough though. Mo went through all those options, and I've played almost all of the ones, that he mentioned, and there were so many along the way that I kind of wanted to be my jam, like Returnal. I wanted to be my jam, but it frustrated me, and it frustrated me too much, and it didn't respect my time, my limited time that I had to game. So that got ditched. Psychonauts 2 was another one that I really, really liked, but that would go up against Ratchet and Clank, in my opinion, for best game. And I think Ratchet and Clank just was streamlined a little better in presentation wise and everything. Psychonauts 2, I may have enjoyed parts of that more, but all said and done, end of the day, my favorite game was just triumphing over Death's Door with my little lightsaber crow guy, and beating all those bosses, and getting down the choreographing of the moves at the right time, and really lots of reflexes. It was frustrating, but not enough to beat the shit out of me like Returnal. And part of that is because it wasn't a roguelite, right? So I mean, I didn't fucking die and have to start over. You died and you just tried again and again and again, which is the equivalent of just I describe it like this: like games like that are difficult when you die, but you get to restart right at that boss again, or right where you died, is like sitting and hitting your head against the wall. Whereas like Returnal, when you die, it's like having a running start and slamming up against the wall again, and then
100%.
rinsing and repeating
Fuck, I
that
agree
shit.
so much with
You know?
Oh my
So
god.
there's a difference. It's like, yeah, it's a little what is it, a fender bender versus a fucking getting T-boned every time.
Oh yeah.
Maybe, and I really I just want to touch on Returnal real quick. I'm not going to
it.
spoil anything for you, Crystal, but I really wanted to love Returnal. It's got this gameplay mechanic, this loop that really sucks you in. It really does, and you're feeling it, and you're vibing, and
Yes.
you got the music is eerie, and you're feeling really good, and you're beating one boss, and you're beating a second boss, and then you just fucking die in the most retarded goddamn way that you could die, and then you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again,
That's
and
me
you
before
just keep
beating the
doing it
first boss.
again. and it just sucked the life out of me, and
Me too.
it felt like I was making no progress, and that's hard for me to swallow when I have, let's say, on any given week I might have 10 hours, 15 hours of game time, unless I want to piss my wife off, and and then even then it's 20 hours, right, that I might squeeze out of there. So it didn't respect my time, and I wanted Returnal to be it, because it had so many good things for going for it. It really did. Like, and I wanted the story to flesh out, and I wanted to be able to get in there and really figure out Celine's situation, and this weird fucking time loop she's in, and what the astronaut is, and all this other shit that you come across, but didn't do it for me. So Death's Door again. Sorry, tangents, but
So
Death's
good.
Door, Little Crow guy, really good. Probably took me 15 hours to beat, I think, maybe 15, 20 hours. Just a good, unique indie game that surprised me in many, many ways.
That's a good length for games too. I like 15,
Yes.
really
I
good,
like
like
I like
15,
the
20-hour
15
games.
to 20-hour games.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know that I would sink more than 20 hours into Returnal. And I'm not saying it's a bet. Okay. I'm not a big Pew Pew fan. Okay. I need
Okay.
other shit besides Pew Pew.
Okay.
Games can be great when they have a shooter mechanic, when there are also other things for me to do, right? I like to do a variety of things. I'm not getting that in Returnal. It's just pew 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 pew. Try not to die. I don't have other things to keep me occupied. There's like not. I like 4-hour long cinematic mini movies as fucking cutscenes. I'm not getting that. So I went into it like, oh, this is fun. Pew pew. And then I got to Frikey and almost beat him on my first try. And then I'm like, it's kind of the same thing. I feel like every strip club I'm going to, the same strippers up there dancing to the same song, and it's getting kind of old.
All right.
So, and I've only been playing it like 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
So I don't know. Even if it weren't as difficult as it is, and even if like the RNG wasn't motherfucking bullshit, fuck you, because I keep getting, who the fuck gave me this shit ass weapon? It's I'm still waiting for the pew 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 pew.
Okay.
Oh, pew 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 pew. Oh, pew 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 to not to. But I haven't played that much yet, so I need to give it more time. But that's where I'm at now.
Fair.
But the haptics feel amazing, and the audio is fucking incredible. And I did scream like a little bitch once. I did. It jumped out at me, it's good. I don't know if it's for me yet. No critique. No, I'm not shitting on the game. I just don't know if it's for me yet.
Let me just say, so yes, the DualSense, that's probably the best DualSense integration, arguably.
It's so good.
But everything you just said, Crystal, I would say maybe sink tops 2 more hours in to decide if it's for you, because honestly, like I've done everything in that game essentially, except for all the trophies, but the core of it is pew pew pew, you know?
That's what I was worried about.
But it's just so well done. Like, and the combat just feels so good. Like when you figure out how to use some of those weapons, the ones that don't make sense initially, you start like just wrecking with them. But it's all just, you know, it's all just like, you know, the whole bullet hell thing is just endlessly fascinating to me. Just the way it looks on screen, and when you're kind of dodging through it all, it just feels like a damn ballet. You know, it
very
reminds
smooth.
me of like how, it reminds me of how the combat in Doom feels. It's just so good. But
actually, it does feel like Doom to me. Like I was describing it to somebody. I'm like, it's like a roguelite Doom, but it's like more advanced. It's almost a little overwhelming for me. I'm like, my God,
everything on screen is crazy. I agree,
but it's a good game. But
the narrative is kind of falls flat for me. It's very much one of those kind of like figure it out yourself kind of things, and a lot of it is reading these, you know, finding these glyphs on the wall that are obscurely translated. Like it starts out like reading like the moon prays the moon.
No, Kid Smooth said you're not supposed to know how to read to play video games.
Exactly, that's true.
So
that's true. I retract that statement.
I haven't been.
I retract that statement.
I just grab the parasites and then don't read. And why did I die? Yeah.
That's a fair point. But I applaud you for at least trying. But roguelites are a very special breed. Like if you want to try to kind of get into any other roguelite right now that you might like more, I'd say try Hades.
I want to get out of my comfort zone. I tried to do that this year. I played Death Stranding. I played Persona 5. I'm not a big JRPG. Persona 5?
Me neither.
Yeah. Never played
fucking long.
That's what I've heard.
Mechanic heavy.
Did you play the original or Royal?
I played Royal. And I go into games blind, and I ask people, don't give me a lot of advice unless I come to you and I'm like struggling. And Persona 5 is like that was the first JRPG I played in probably 20 years. That bit me in the ass. Like, I made a lot of mistakes, but
because Royal apparently was like a more streamlined version of 5, right? Like, I mean, they apparently tried
harder
to
boss fights.
Okay, so the first JRPG I played in probably my entire life was Final Fantasy VII Remake. I was enjoying it. Initially.
You might like Persona. There's some,
but then I got to a point where I just didn't care anymore, right? Like I mean, because I remember I'm like, I can't do the whole Japanese style melodrama, even though I love fucking like Jordan and I have talked about this so many times.
Yep.
I love Japanese culture. I love what it offers. I love its their little quirks and their humor. That see, that fits for me in games like Yakuza, right? Because
Sure.
Yakuza is very, very self-aware of what it is, and it doesn't give a fuck, right? Like, I mean, it really capitalizes on the goofiness, right? Like of what the culture offers, obviously in a humorous way, and even some of the serious story beats as well in Yakuza. But Final Fantasy VII,
Sure.
like, I mean, it's just so much fucking melodrama, man.
I
Frosted
would say
Tips
for you,
fucking,
and
I can't.
I would
Yeah.
say at least for Kevin, for sure, it's not a game that's going to respect your free time, because you get in
Yeah,
these
fuck
fucking
that.
palaces. You get in these palaces, which if you get lost, I mean, there has been palaces which have taken me an entire day. Like, you have to find a certain point to save.
Yeah.
So it's like that
Yeah, I'm good.
having, yeah.
Kev,
So,
I'm with you, Kev.
I'm kind of like,
Can't do it.
don't play it if you don't have a ton of time you can sink
Yep.
into it,
Yeah.
because you
That
can't
is
just save
why-
whenever you want to save.
Yep. And that's why I got out of the MMO thing, because it's
Yeah,
like when
Smart.
I don't understand where people can find the time to do the raids, and these things can be 6-8 hours long. 6-8 hours long. That is an entire fucking shift at work, that I'm going to sit at a desk or on my couch and play with having to be attentive too, because there's no pausing, there's
No.
coordination and shit. Fuck that. So yeah, no, I can't do the 100-hour plus games. That's just nuts.
Plus.
That's an
Yeah,
accomplishment.
no,
And it's not even a
can't do
good
it.
game. It's not The Witcher.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
it's-
The Witcher,
Well,
one of my favorites.
Just kidding,
Yeah,
I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
unlike The Witcher, Persona had good combat. I'm just fucking with you guys. Okay, so
She's
right,
with
so
me on that one.
I'm going to share my favorite game, and I don't
Let's
even
go.
care how many people get pissed off and say, that's a trash game, I don't
Let's
like
hear
it. I like it. In fact, I fucking love it. Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize for it, okay? In the beginning, yes, the game was rough. It crashed all the time. It was a bad situation. CD Projekt Red did us fucking dirty. If you have an old gen console, they did you fucking dirty. I'm not gonna cover for them, okay? But they made, if you have a next gen system or a decent PC, the quality of life improvements they made have been really good. Fantastic characters. I'm with Mo. I think this is one of the better RPGs in a long fucking time. Great lore, great world, great stories, great characters. Fucking Judy. Literally fucking Judy. It's just a great gunplay. The cyberware is cool. I think it was so much fun. I had so much fun. So much fun. I that's just my guilty pleasure game. I can have a good time in it, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear that. That's the thing that we were trying to. I remember Ains and I and Pampa. We were really like championing the game when it first released, right? Because everybody was kind of like, oh, Cyberpunk sucks, I mean, whatever. But I was like, okay, look, I mean, I understand the technical issue. Even Jordan, really, like Jordan ran into a
we'll get
game-breaking
there.
bug,
Yeah,
and that really
we'll
just
get there.
fucking halted his experience. And I felt that. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, like that makes sense.
It was broken at
sucks.
first. It shouldn't have been released. It
But
shouldn't have
he
been
even
released.
played it on Series X.
Yeah. So
You
now,
know,
let me just step
It was
in.
still broken when it
Let me
first
just step in.
released.
So
Yeah,
I
it was,
couldn't
yeah.
get past the tutorial mission, like the main quest. I could not finish that.
The heist.
The heist, right. So I'm basically like, dicking around for like nearly 6 hours just doing side missions. I'm like, okay, this is cool, but I want to get back to the story. And then I'm okay, now I'm like 6.5 hours in. Do I really want to restart this game and, start a new character? And that I literally was like, I'm done. So I
don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Installed it. I will replay it. I swear to God, I will play this game when it comes out for the Series X update, because I love, I love CD Projekt Red. Witcher 3 was huge for me. But I couldn't play it, so it was unplayable for me.
I don't blame people for wanting to wait for that update. And I mean, I couldn't get through it until they did several updates. It took 3 updates. That's unacceptable. I don't think they should have done what they did. I'm not going to make excuses for them. But once they did do those updates, and it really does have a lot of good it's not a
Very cool.
perfect game, but it really does have a lot of great qualities, and it makes me sad that whatever happened internally happened. If those developers had been given the time and the resources to create what I think they wanted to create, I think it would have been phenomenal.
That's the thing about the game that you see. So my argument initially, like when we were championing it, we're like, look, we understand the technical issues, but we're talking about it as a video game and what it tried to do in the story and whatever. Like, it's fucking amazing, right? I mean, and what you were saying, like, it's not perfect, but there's so many moments in that game where you just see what they were trying to do and it's pulled off so well. And you're like, man, because, you know, marketing and the lead up to Cyberpunk, we all knew it was fucking amazing, right? Like, I mean, it was marketed to be like the next great thing. And I think that's probably the most disappointing release, I think, in video game history. And I think it shifted the landscape in terms of how developers and publishers react to the fans. And I think it taught a big lesson to everybody now. Like, don't fucking release your games in a broken state. Like, initially you used to get away with it, put out like a fucking little tweet or, you know, a little press release saying like, oh, we'll fix it, blah, blah, blah. But this is just, it was, I agree with you. It was an incredible experience for me. I did not have too many issues personally. I played it at launch. I played it on Series X and I crashed a couple times. I did. But overall, for me to sink 150 hours into one playthrough, and these guys know, how impatient I am. They know how impatient I am. So for me to sink 150 hours into one playthrough and want to play every fucking day more and more and more, that's when I was like, yeah, this game just did it for me.
The characters are so good. Like, I love so many of the characters. I liked the endings. I felt like the choices actually had consequences. One of my favorite things was the lore, the world they created to me felt realistic. And like they took real world conspiracy theories and like real world concerns from today and wrapped them up into this future world. And even the side missions, like the one political one, you know what I'm talking about, where you help the Peraltas. I'm like,
I do.
That is so cool how they took all these crazy things that people talk about and made them a reality in the future. And like, there's no animals left and there's like no meat to eat. And it's all these things. There's the water is scarce. Like, they took all these potential problems and made it believable in this world. And I just thought that was creative. I thought it was really cool. And it was, again, the heads of the company really fucked up, but I feel like the developers made a good thing and the marketing team fucked them over, in my opinion.
They did.
And I just really want those developers to get a chance to deliver what they wanted to deliver. And I hope that, you know, and it seems like people are being more receptive to it. It looks like their reception's getting better. The ratings are getting better.
You still got those fucking, you still got those dickheads that parrot, you know, everybody, you know what I mean? But the ones that can't fucking think for themselves, the fucking plebs. But other than that, you know, like, I mean, I think they will, you know, I mean, now we're what is it? We're over a year away, you know, from its release. And I don't care how long this fucking, I think this game is going to be relaunched.
It'll make a splash.
Like once it comes out in its proper fashion, I still believe it should not have been. I think because it was announced so long ago, that's what fucked them, right? It was announced so long ago, and then they're like, oh, it's coming to Xbox and PS4, but then the ambition got bigger, right? The ambition got bigger, the technology got better, but the Xbox One and the PS4 are fucking like graphing calculators, right? Like in terms of the tech they offer, and they just kept getting older and older and older as the game and the tech kept advancing and advancing. And I think that's what screwed them. They should have just been at one point. I mean, but still, they fucked up. Like, they lied. They got their sales. They lied. I understand that. Like, it sucks, but this game should have been purely a next-gen experience. And
I know so many people that played it that are like, wow, I had a really good time. I really enjoyed the characters. And I mean, love some of the best NPCs in a game I've played. I loved all of them, like, so much. Like, I loved Carrie. I had to play again immediately as a man so I could smash with that dude. 100%. I was like, I have to smash. That's my thing in video. I think, like,
you smash.
In video games, it's like, it's fun for
Sure.
me. Like
Sure.
It's fun in real life too.
well, yeah, but I have to go to the
Uh.
vanilla. I have to make it rain in the vanilla unicorn every playthrough in GTA 5. Like there's just
Absolutely.
things you have to do in games, and I had
Yeah,
to smash it with Carrie. I was like, I love this guy. I got to smash.
Mhm.
Like, I don't give a
Mhm.
fuck.
Mhm. You
So,
do you, girl.
and I
I
I'll
can't tell you. Listen, one last thing I want to touch on because this I think is funny.
okay.
Before the game came out, what's it called? Oh, no, actually, it wasn't before the game came out. It was after we started playing it, right? There was some. I started seeing some things because I had picked a male character, and I started seeing
Oh.
some things, and it was like, oh, you can only romance Judy if you're a woman. And I'm like, please, someone tell me
He was
that this is
devastated.
not true. Please, please. Because the whole
He was
time I'm like, I just want to
devastated.
get to
Yeah.
Judy. And I swear to you, my next playthrough, when the Series X release comes out, I'm going to play a woman and I'm going to start as a corpo. And my fucking end goal will be Judy.
But isn't it? I think it's amazing when developers, and so many games are great at this, make such likable characters.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Mhm.
like, because
Mhm.
for me personally, when I play a game, especially an RPG, I insert myself as that character. So, like, that's
Which is
why
really the point.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
love in-game relationships and like in-game friendship, like playing as Cassandra in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Barnabas. Like I fucking loved him being on my ship and having that like father-like relationship with me, and I loved. I
That's
loved
cool.
so many of those characters, but I thought Judy
Yeah.
was like so cool. She'd make like the River was cool. They were just all such cool characters.
When you see her and you meet her and she's in her office, her little computer,
Are you
sometimes
talking
Mhm.
about? Are you talking about when she's in the den at Judy? At Lizzie's?
Yeah,
In
yeah,
her
yeah.
little
When
den? Oh,
she's at
Judy.
her battle
Okay.
station, basically.
Her battle
Sometimes you
station.
stare at her and she gives you these fucking looks. Like I'm telling you, this was purely fucking intentional from the developers. I swear to
Yes.
God. She
Yes.
gives you these fucking looks like she'll be working and then she'll kind of give you like this fucking seductive look, like for what she'll look away from the screen. I'm like, oh my God, this is
Yeah.
this is
And
a
if you
virtual moment. I
play,
have to stop this.
if like it, this was intentional because if you have, because I did one female run, one male run. Pan Am is pretty. She's kind of similar.
It was
She'll
a
flirt.
substitute for
She'll
me.
flirt the same way, but like
She's a substitute.
River does treat you different. There is a significant difference in the way that actor or the way they animated that person to interact with you if you're a male versus a female character. And one of the
Mhm.
things that's really cool, if you romance a character or you develop a good friendship with them, like it changes when they text message you or when you call them after that point.
Yes, it
Like
does.
I thought that was really
Very
cool. I was like,
dynamic.
that's such a neat little authentic detail that we don't get a lot of times in games. Like,
Mhm.
so I just little details like that I just
Yeah.
thought were so cool, which is why I just really I had a lot of fun with Cyberpunk and
That's awesome.
I love the
We
game.
just turned this into a cyberpunk podcast, so I
It's always,
apologize.
it always
Hey,
comes back to
look,
that.
I
Yep.
just
That's
if,
fine.
if you
Don't
mean,
open a cyberpunk
look,
conversation.
I'm just saying, if people
Yeah.
genuinely don't like the game, you don't like the game. That's okay. You don't have to
Yeah.
agree. I get it. If you're mad at what CD Projekt Red did and you never want to play it, that's totally your decision too. I get that. Totally get that. So let's talk a little bit about Backlog Chronicles. For anybody who doesn't know, let's talk a little bit about your show. You guys still going live on Sunday nights, right?
Oh yeah.
Still going
Oh
live.
yeah.
I used to
Mhm.
jump in those all the time, but Sunday night is kind of like wifey time, so I watch it on YouTube later. But
Sure.
it's a great show. What I really love the
Thank you.
best, you guys take. First of all, you guys are smart asses, right? So if you don't know these guys plus Mike, they'll poke at topics. They're not being toxic fanboys. They're literally poking at topics. They're being fun. They're making light of the serious bullshit that goes on Twitter. And they take it and they turn it into just really funny content that kind of helps you get away from all the negative bullshit. That's my favorite thing about the show.
Crystal.
And I think it's always fun. So like, let's talk a little bit about that. By the way, who came up, like, how did you guys even get together, the four of you? Like, did you meet on Twitter or?
Go,
Like-
Mo. You start.
Yep.
Okay, so
Take it away, Mo.
I met Mike first. I met
Like in
Mike
real,
on
like in real life?
No, like on Twitter. I
Okay.
met Mike on Twitter in 2019. So him and I started, we started playing, playing some co-op games together. And then one day I was like, hey man, I've always wanted to do a fucking gaming podcast. Do you want to do it with me? First he said no because of like family and shit. And then I'm like, all right, cool. So I kind of just let it die. Right. I'm like, fuck it. Like, and then he reached out to me after the pandemic hit. I think it was like in February or March. I can't remember. I think it was in March or April, somewhere around there of 2020. And he's like, hey, let's go, bro. He's like, I'm in the right headspace. I'm like, let's fucking go. Let's go. So we started planning it out. And, I remember Kevin and Jordan at that time, I had just met them. Jordan and I started following each other, because we're both in healthcare, and then Kevin, like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on with him at that time, but I'm like, oh, this guy's cool. I like him, so we started interacting here and there. I remember like when we first launched the podcast and then Jordan started listening to us, and I used to tell him, I'm like, hey, tell me what you think is shitty and tell me what you think is good. And this motherfucker would always write me like a wall of text, which I always loved and appreciated, right? And then Kevin too, like I used to reach out to him too. And then, the natural thing was, I remember at that point we're like, okay, we got to expand. First we went to 3, we brought Kevin on, and because I remember I was watching Kevin he was on another show, and I'm like, all right, man, this guy's like, he should be on something a little more fun.
Hilarious.
Hilarious. I'm like, he should be enjoying himself more, and I know he would have with us. So, we brought him on, and then we brought on Jordan, and it's just fucking amazing. And really what makes it the best, and I'm going to let these guys carry on too, what makes it the best is we've turned into, we turned it into this thing where we do it for fun, obviously, it's not monetized or whatever, but what makes it the best experience for me is the fact that all 4 of us have become best friends.
No doubt.
So I can't tell you what an amazing thing that is for us, like if there's frustration, these guys they get me, they understand me, we all understand each other, we all get each other, what you can do or what you like, what you don't like, what frustrates us. And all of us are on the same page because of how close we've all gotten with each other, right? So like a few weeks ago we were talking about it and I'm like, hey man, we go whatever, like there was some frustration I was voicing and I didn't give a fuck, right? Like I told these guys straight up and I'm like, these guys are my fucking boys, so they understand. I'm not going to sit here and worry about whether somebody's going to be fucking sensitive or whatever it is, right? Like shoot that shit back at me. If there's something you don't like, you fucking tell me, right? Like it doesn't matter. But the point is that's what makes it. That's why the conversation's always funny. That's why it's whatever. Like if we fucking look at each other, we know exactly what the fuck we're thinking, and I can't tell you how much more enjoyable that makes it for us. So, yeah, man. Honestly, it's amazing, and yeah, that's pretty much how it started. That's how our show started.
Who came up with the name?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Backlog is not constipation, and Mo is not a proctologist. In case anybody
not a
listening or watching doesn't know, it's literally about the backlog of games that you get from Game Pass, the greatest value in gaming. That's what that's about. It's not about.
all those cheesy ass tropes. I know.
This show's sponsored by.
Oh wow!
I'm making it up.
Wow.
Look,
I just died inside, I think.
Sorry, Kevin.
Look, Kevin. I have a Series X now, right next to me.
You're basically an Xbox.
That loud noise you hear right now is the Xbox fridge. Xbox fridge. So now I have to be a bot. Like I have to.
Yeah, you do.
I have to play the part because I have.
You 100% are required.
Yeah.
At this point.
I know I was just playing Returnal, but I don't even fucking use my PS5 anymore.
Yeah, you have to dust it off to play it, right?
I haven't used that fucking thing. Piece of shit.
One thing I want to add to about us is we all have like our preferences, right, for where we like to play. And I think all of us treat these consoles as, like if we prefer, like we're on Xbox every night, right? But that's like kind of like where our friends are, where our community is. But we're the type that's always like, if a good game comes out on another console, we don't give a fuck, right? We're dropping and we're going. So we always have made that clear. It's like, when we say preference, it's really like where what our comfort food is in terms of like, user interface or whatever, like, I mean, but when it comes down to it, our fucking biggest thing is always games.
Oh yeah,
It's always been like that.
you
It's
guys
always
are
been like that.
you're like, well, I mean, that's the Twitter family we have, I would say, is pretty good about
Mhm.
like, we like the games. Like, we'll buy all the consoles if we have to. Just give us the games. Jordan plays everything, by the way.
My
This is
fucking
true.
son,
Like
yeah, he does.
everything.
Yes,
Everything.
he does.
I live vicariously through him. I don't know how he does it, but like, guys play
And he
fucking
still has
everything.
time to work out and have an extraordinary body.
And fucking
And a fucking great
You know.
jawline.
wait.
Yeah.
Have you seen Jordan? Jordan has an extraordinary
That
body.
that is
He's posted a
between
couple
Really?
of
Really? And
on
I
Twitter,
missed
yeah.
him.
podcast
I mean, I've
members.
seen him
Ah.
I've seen him hiking in the mountains with the
Mhm.
force, but I've never seen him
Yeah.
shirtless.
Well,
Oh yeah.
if
Oh,
you
yeah.
get on his
So-
OnlyFans,
There
then
you go.
you'd be able to see
Okay,
that.
just for science, not that I'm interested in subscribing. What is your membership? Your monthly membership on the?
If you use the discount code TBC Jordan, then you pay nothing for the first 2 months.
Yeah,
Okay, wait.
buddy.
Can we have an
no.
OnlyFans of Jordan putting O'Keefe's on his hands?
just over and over again?
Yes,
Yes.
this is
Can
the
we
new
just-
fetish.
This is the new
Yes.
thing where he and then wait, Kevin can play like lawn mowing simulator in his underwear.
There it is. I was waiting for that.
That is not something that anybody wants
I
to
expect
see,
you to go
but-
full homer on that one,
I-
man.
Wow.
Full homer.
That I'd scare people, I think.
I know you say that, but there's always a
Oh yeah,
there's
there's always
always a
somebody
market.
that's gonna
There's always
yeah.
a market. There's always a market.
There's always a market.
I would probably pay a monthly fee just to listen to Mo complain about things.
Yeah.
I probably would.
His rants are pretty epic.
They are.
I
I was
agree.
hoping.
I
I was
agree.
like, I really hope something happens and he just goes off. And he did it several times.
Oh,
Like that's. I love angry Mo. So
Yeah.
we'll make sure that I'll make sure that everything gets posted. We'll have links on Anchor and in YouTube.
Yeah.
But can you let everybody know where can they find the Backlog Chronicles on Twitter? What's your handle?
Jordan or Kevin, you guys can take this one.
Because Mo doesn't fucking
gosh.
remember.
Yeah,
Jordan's
no,
gonna
I
handle
do.
either
My,
too
yeah,
either. Holy crap! 1 second.
You what's your you have a vanity URL, don't you, on YouTube? What are you, youtube.com/ is
yeah,
it
the Backlog Chronicles. I think
Backlog Chronicles.
Mike created he created one of those cool. Yeah, it's the Backlog Chronicles podcast on YouTube.
Yeah. On Twitter, it's at TBCcast.
Mhm.
All right.
You can find all of our links on there too. But yes, live every Sundays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Jordan, where can folks find you on Twitter to follow you?
You can
And your
find me.
hands.
You could find me and my hands and my O'Keefe's and some shirtless pics at Roguelite PAC on Twitter, and the same thing goes for Xbox and PlayStation.
Ladies, shirtless pictures. He's like
Oh,
the
yeah.
Tom. He's like the Tom Brady
Tom
of, game,
Brady.
Oh,
of
yeah.
gaming, except
I
not
forgot
retired.
about that.
Except not retired.
Tom
That's
Brady of gaming.
Yeah, because he's
yeah.
nearly
Good
perfect.
description.
Yeah, but
He's
haha.
amazing at first-person shooters. He's
Mhm.
fucking. He's a Souls player. He likes tough
Mhm.
games. I mean, I can't compete.
And he
man.
plays
Yeah.
everything. Like he
We don't
really
even-
plays.
we don't even
And he
try
plays
to compete.
everything.
He
Don't
does.
fool me.
Yeah,
Like we
yeah.
can't. You're not going to win a Super Bowl against
Yeah,
Jordan.
if he
Don't fucking
wasn't-
try.
If he wasn't so gloriously brown, then he'd be blushing right now.
Yeah.
I have a little bit
Uh,
right now.
Yeah.
Cheeks hurt.
Kevin, where can we find you? Where can folks find you to give you a follow?
I run a pretty awesome Twitter account at K underscore MED K Med, where you can find me interacting with fanboys of all the consoles and arguing
he
with
does.
them in tactful memes, meme wars, and I've been on Twitter for a long time, and I'm gonna approach the 2,000 follower mark here. I think I can make it by year
That's
end,
awesome.
baby.
Mhm.
Only 20 years on Twitter, and I'll be able to get 2,000
have
people
to-
to follow me.
I have to give it to you. You are the
Mm.
master baiter. He's a master at baiting.
Yes,
At
he
like
is.
baiting people into these like hilarious. But I mean, when you know him, you know that he's joking and it's satirical. But you know, some people don't.
I
and
do
it's-
like just like the podcast. We try to focus on playing games and cracking jokes because the shit's not that serious.
It
and
isn't.
and people really go overboard, and it's just funny that I enjoy messing with people that are trying to get a rise out of me.
It's so
Because
much. It's so much
because
better
it's
to
not gonna
handle
happen.
when. It's so much better to handle when you just like when it's funny, when you can turn
It's
it into a
fucking
joke.
hilarious.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
it just
All of it's
it
completely
makes
hilarious.
it makes the hard shit and the annoying shit
Yo.
easier to handle. Mo, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Docta, DOCTA _ Mo, MOE. It used to be Mokoma. I had a previous Twitter account for like 7 years or 8 years before, but then in 2019, I don't know why the fuck they just suspended me. I have no idea why. They completely suspended my account and then they shut me down. So I had to make a new one. I was so fucking mad because that's like my handle for. I try to make it at least for everything. So I lost it. Now, if you actually look up at Mokalma, it'll say user is suspended.
Oh.
Go on.
He has no idea why.
As a
I-
white
I
guy,
swear to
I've
God,
never
to
had
this
these
day-
problems.
What is it?
As a white guy, I've never experienced this
Yeah,
problem
that's the
before, so
thing.
I can
know,
only
man,
assume
I know.
Twitter's racist.
100%, 100%. Yeah, they just fucking knew it. They knew I was Middle Eastern. That's the problem. Man. I mean, so that's why they got me. But yeah, you can catch us there. TBC Cast Sunday nights. We're actually doing trivia this week.
Yeah,
And,
we are. It should be fun.
Yeah, we're gonna do a trivia thing. Crystal, I don't know if you watched last week's show. If you even did not, please forward to 1 hour and 40 minutes when we start the drama alert.
Okay.
That's
Yep.
pretty funny.
It
I
was
will.
fucking hilarious. I swear to God. So basically, we take like dramatic fucking shitty takes on Twitter, or I mean, sometimes they're good, but they're just dramatic. You know, like the people that we always make fun of, the ones who really take these things personal, and we read them in like a theatrical way.
That
and
is
it's just like-
fantastic.
you have to
pretty
hear
funny.
Kevin imitating
comedy
Jason
gold.
Schreier. It's
I thought I
fucking
hit it on the
comedy
mark.
gold.
I really,
can't
really
wait.
did.
No, I'm telling you, yeah, it was
And
something.
you know what? I've actually heard Jason Schreier, so I studied him for a good 35 seconds.
Just close your nose and you'll be able to sound like
And
him.
then,
I'm excited.
No, I'm telling you.
I'm very excited.
You actually reminded me of a funny story really quick the other day, because we always make fun of these fucking turds. I put up this tweet. I'm like, hey, it would be really cool if Mark Cerny and Seamus Blackley, who's one of the creators of the original Xbox, imagine they teamed up and they created like this ultimate console. It would be fantastic. So this fucking Xbox fanboy fucking messages me and he's like, ew, whatever. He's talking about oh my God, I forgot his name. The fuck is wrong with me? I just said his name. Not Seamus Blackley, the other guy.
Mark.
Jesus Christ,
Mark Cerny.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was terrible. Anyway, so he's like, "Oh, Mark Cerny, the creator of the SSD, blah blah blah." I'm like, "All right, you know." And then I'm like, I responded to him. I'm like, "Bro, please don't bring your fanboy shit here." He's like, "Well, he lied about the SSD, so why can I not do the same?" I'm like, "Bro, you take this shit way too fucking personal, homie." He blocked me. That's how these people operate. This is their persona. Their entire life is on Twitter. Like, this is their persona. Whether they're pro PlayStation or pro Xbox or I hate PlayStation or fuck you PlayStation or whatever, this is their persona. These are fucking both cults of Manson. Manson families on opposite sides. And I'm not going to lie to you. If you're watching this, I'm an Xbox main, but the fucking Xbox fanboys are starting to really fucking piss me off. They've become
Angry Mo again.
They've become really fucking bad. They're really sometimes they make it really fucking unenjoyable with their fucking stupid ass shit. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Go play your games.
I just like games. I just like games. I don't care what systems there are. I got all the consoles. I just upgraded my Quest to the 2. Give me the games. I don't give a shit. And I'm really good at ignoring you. So like, if you're going to be ridiculous, I can keep scrolling. So you're not going to get.
But Crystal, you don't play games on the Oculus. That's for porn, right?
Yeah.
I play games too. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
So it's not just for porn.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
this great thing. You can do like this guided Tai Chi, and it's supposed to help relax you.
I've done that.
Hasn't fucking worked yet, but we're working on. We're working on.
You're on a beach or something.
I'm trying to get with my inner chi and like fucking relax. So Yeah.
Very
And then-
I think
relax.
Mo needs something like that. Yeah, we gotta hook
Yeah.
up Mo some Oculus Quest.
I really like. I don't play it as much as I should, but Beat Sabing's really fun. And then I played
Sabing's
Vader Immortal and like knock speakers off the wall and hit a fucking cat because
Yeah.
I get excited and I go out of my. All right. Well, another fantastic fucking episode. So if you guys haven't checked out the Backlog Chronicles, please definitely do that and
Thank
give
you.
these guys a follow. They're a lot
Appreciate
of fun. They're good dudes. I love them. They're my bros and my dad. So thank you guys for being on. Thank you guys for being on.
Thank you so much
Great,
for having us on.
great,
Crystal.
great show for season 2. We'll have to do this again sometimes. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
We've been planning this for a couple months too, so I'm really happy it finally happened. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie
same.
to you. I was honestly I was telling these guys, I'm like, I didn't know if I was gonna make it tonight. Have like some personal thing, you know, like I mean,
glad
so
you did.
I'm really happy I did too. Yeah, honestly, because initially
It's a
I
good time.
didn't know if I could or couldn't, but I'm happy that I did. Thank you for having us. It's been
Thanks for
fucking
putting
awesome.
everything to the side for us. I appreciate that. For me, because I'm a loser that doesn't have a
Damn it,
regular best friends on the show. It's because you're all my best friends, which is why I like the community show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching, and have a good week, a good night, a good day, whatever the fuck you are. Bye, everybody.